games. Either way, game has been started. Red and blue ready to go. Fnatic versus Mousesports. Reckles up first. Was he up first last time?
It's a good question.
Don't know. Lots of honor badges going down. Poor Xpeke. No honor for him. He's not honorable.
Scumbag Xpeke.
Well, who else
no honor.
Isn't that honorable? I would dominate. R.I.P. dominate.
Ooh.
Yeah, he'll be back.
That was a low blow.
Was it? Oh.
That was a low. No, he deserved it.
Toxic. Yeah.
All right.
What do we got here for bans, sir?
It looks like Fnatic recall banning out Shen, and then Rengar as well. Just generally very strong picks. You know, obviously, Mouse is a really strong top lane. But that's something they just generally don't want to deal with. Turning around, we have Mouse banning Diana and Evelynn. So absolutely a target ban against Xpeke. His Diana and his Evelynn are almost legendary. They're just extremely strong, just champions in general, and their team just works so well together. And we saw that, that Nunu ban coming out. We saw that Nunu ban coming out as well from Fnatic, and then Katarina getting banned.
I'm face palming a little bit here. Once again, Soaz able to pick up his favorite Lee Sin.
Ooh, it's a bit of danger top lane. We could see Cyanide picking up Lee Sin in the jungle as well. I mean, he's known for a really good Lee Sin at the same time.
Yeah, but it's all about playing ping pong in the top lane. All about playing ping pong. Seriously, like so many movement displacements available to one champion. It's like, the good old days where you banned out Janna because she has 3 CCs. Well, these days it's because Lee Sin had just so much movement afforded to him. But we are going to be taking away that Olaf. We did see that in game number 1 today, the Olaf and Lee Sin combination. But it's going to go to Moopsy. And what is Glucose going to be picking up? Going to be a Zyra. So mid Zyra or support Zyra? I'm not too sure offhand. Let's check out Moopsy.
I mean, mid Zyra isn't completely unheard of. I mean,
yeah, it might be a mid Zyra because he has 75% win rate at 16 games. That's pretty huge.
I wonder. That's going to be interesting on how they respond to that one as well. I mean, obviously the Olaf pick is just generally a very strong pick. Whether he's jungle or whether he's top lane, Olaf has really good base values and just scales extremely well. On top of those axes that do just an insane amount of damage, and then when he's in lane, you max that true damage first, and you can trade with just about anyone without, without having any sort of downfall from it. Soaz and Rated picking up the Ezreal and Blitzcrank bottom lane. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen, those kind of banned out, because that's a really strong bottom lane. Very interesting.
Well, we saw a Blitzcrank in the first game ban, I believe. But, it's just more like a general ban. You don't really target anyone with the Blitzcrank. It's so very hard to get solo queue practice in with a Blitz. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. N-Rated and Soaz picking those ones up. So we're going to see Reckless on an Ezreal.
That's right. Now, remember, N-Rated, I mean, on top of really good at Blitzcrank with those grabs, he's actually very strong with that Zyra. So, I mean, it might not have been a let's give a Zyra to Moopsy, or let's give Zyra to, let's give the Zyra to our support. It might have been so much as they just want to deny Zyra from Fnatic's N-Rated, because that combo, I mean, obviously, it's rather strong, especially with how good N-Rated is, just at Zyra naturally. But I mean, between the Ezreal and the Blitzcrank bottom lane, and we saw Corki being picked up again. Now Corki does out damage Ezreal, like very slightly, when it comes to that bottom lane trade, and he can still get out with a Valkyrie if he does it at just the right time, if he does it after the Blitzcrank pull. But the Blitzcrank pull can actually completely interrupt that either way. So it's not like Ezreal's phase shift where he could just pop into it and completely ignore the crowd control from the other side. He could really control the way that lane goes, and it kind of goes either way. So It's down, but it looked like it might have been a Zyra support. I didn't get to see that last pick. Yeah, so XPK picking up an Ahri and then Jarvan coming out. And again, they could switch the Lee Sin and Jarvan. It actually could go either way.
I do apologize to the stream if that static screen was sitting there. It totally shouldn't have been. So, yep, my bad if that did happen. Do apologize. Now, a jungle Jarvan. Yeah or nay?
Oof. It's actually... I gotta say yay. Okay. But I'm more interested in the lane Jarvan than the jungle Jarvan.
Well, probably not going to be seeing that. Yeah, it looks like Cyanide is going to be taken. So it will be that Soaz in the top lane. As I said, that Lee Sin, it's too good to give up. Soaz just loves that Lee Sin, and he does an amazing job with it. Top lane as well. So top lane him versus, looks like it's going to be that Olaf, as we do have that Amumu. And it is going to be teleport once again on Glucose. Not running any kind of teleport fun. We haven't really seen the home guard teleport kind of brought to the screen quite yet. But still, teleport on an Olaf means he can be in some of those bottom lanes. And wow, did they pick up a Zillion? Not going to be a mid Zyra.
Oh well. Yeah, see, again, like it's more or less that they might just want to deny N-rated from getting Zyra rather than, picking it up straight as well. But I mean, that mid lane Zillion is actually stronger than a lot of people kind of make it out to be. I mean, we've been seeing it a lot more towards the end of season 2, in the competitive side at least. But I mean, mid lane Zillion it's a very finicky lane, I want to say. But Expecke having that Ahri though. I'm not actually sure how that lane's going to go. That one's going to be a bit of a surprise to me.
Well, she does not have any kind of shielding mechanisms to kind of negate the bomb damage. It's not a skill shot, whereas Ahri kind of does need to be able to be on point throwing around her spirit balls. So, M5 style, sure, I'm loving it. Alex Ich in the mid. So Moopsy going to be showing us what he can bring to that table. And Super A is not going to be running heal this round. It is going to be Clairvoyance. And I was waiting for this. We have a barrier on Vander. I actually think we had barrier last game as well, now that I think about it.
Ooh. All right, so, with that Zillion pickup, I mean... So the way the fight is likely going to happen is Olaf is either going to get, sped up by the Zillion, or it's going to be the Amumu to try to get into placement quicker. Obviously, we've been seeing, Mouse run that heal style or the sort of just safer style rather than running that general, ignite and then exhaust or even cleanse exhaust. We've been seeing them run, the heal a little bit more, but the barrier is actually a little bit more effective health, on a single person when it comes into the lane. And the barrier is actually... I'm thinking that the barrier is actually a response to the Blitzcrank Ezreal rather than like a heal would be.
Well, the barrier, when it comes to Ignite, barrier is going to be a nice hard stop to that, because we do have Fnatic N-rated once again running that Ignite in the bottom lane. We do got Reckless on that cleanse, so just like what we saw earlier, it is that support running the Ignite. I think we've seen that actually in every single game to date, but because we are not running it on our AD, he is running that cleanse. Somebody has to bring it, but this also means that we don't have an exhaust in the bottom lane. And believe it or not, yeah, Super Ace still really looking fondly upon his Clairvoyance. So we have no exhaust on either team.
Huh. Yeah, that's a little... I mean, it's not, super strange, but it's not something we normally see in that effect.
Yeah, just seeing Clairvoyance by itself is an abnormality. Ever since it got nerfed, it's just yeah, they're not going to run it anymore. So everyone just started taking heal. And I'm curious, Season 3, a whole new can of worms. Could we see the return of Clairvoyance?
Well, if we're going to find out, it's going to be Mouse teaching us one way or the other.
Yeah, one way or the other. Great idea, maybe not such a great idea. But either way, Fnatic is up 2-0, whereas Mouse, I believe, is 0-2? Or are they 1-1? Trying to remember.
I believe they're 1-1. Yeah, they're 1-1.
Okay, so 2-0 versus 1-1. Mouse did drop the game against Team Ultimate.
Yeah, that's right.
That was what
that's
we
right.
just watched. So, are we going to see a very one-sided game, or are we going to see some of those teachings from M5 and other sources of inspiration come through in the end?
You know what? It's generally a closer game than it seems. I mean, obviously, Fnatic is just an extremely strong team, and they've been going through and just they're on point with everything. Their team just works so well together. But let's not count Mouse out. I mean, they're doing very well. And they have their moments. It's whether or not they can capitalize on one of those moments that's going to be the big issue.
All right, so let's start rearranging some of this. I'm looking at Zyra. Zyra does have majority of that Philosopher's Stone just right off the bat, and rated. If you had landed that, my goodness, that would have been an amazing hook. But Ari mid against this Zillion, I mean, before she has that mobility and that burst, I can't imagine that she's going to win this lane against Moopsy, who can just put a bomb on her all day. Actually, speaking of bombs, yeah, throw it on top of different styles. What a great grab there onto Glucose. Are we going to actually see the flash out of him? We are, but it is going to be Soaz with that auto attack, and he will be able to draw first blood on that Ignite. Now, Super Ace is going to be dropping really low as well. No bombs landing on enemies. In fact, just putting them on top of his teammates. And yeah, N-Rated going to be able to walk away out of that one. His passive did proc, and he does have that Doran's shield, so he wanted to take all that damage. And Fnatic up 1-0 already.
One of the interesting things I wanted to point out, Blitzcrank's Doran's shield. They had planned to invade right from the start, and he very clearly said, "Yeah, I don't need to get my support items. I'll just get a Doran shield, and that's just how we're gonna go."
Well, especially against their lane matchup, Zyra Corki bottom lane. I mean, that by itself is a lot of different pokes. Phosphorus bombs and the enraged plants. But no, it's going to be. Did they deke out the deke? My goodness, we're going to have bottom lanes in the top and both top lanes in the bottom.
Ooh,
they predicted the prediction.
Yeah, I wonder if it was the Fnatic expecting that there was this lane, or wondering if they were thinking that Lee Sin could actually handle 1v2. Oh, Vander gets pulled by N-Rated. A root comes down from Zyra, holding him back, but Vander is actually really low at this point.
Yeah, there's no sustain. Just gotta chug down those health potions. Look at that Corki though. Cloth armor and 5 potions. That's kind of what I was watching Scar, and he's like, "What is this? 5 potions start?" Yeah. As you said, throwbacks to the day of the 13 health pot Mordekaiser. Super Ace, once again, getting caught. I don't think this is going to work out for N-Rated.
N-Rated is really low, and he did get it. He was able to flash away, but that shield from his mana barrier, that came in at just the right time, and he wasn't able to spend all that mana because he's still only level 1. Only 2 grabs. So he was able to hold that shield off. But Glucose down at the bottom lane getting pushed on really hard by Soaz. Yeah, Soaz wants to just trade this lane back and forth and really control it.
Well, he's up 1 kill over top of his opponents. I mean, Boots and Adorance. Oh, this could be bad for different styles, but he looks like he's going to be all right. Getting caught out by the Jarvan. We had Super Ace come down. Just that extra pressure, able to deter the kill. But still, I mean, Soaz, did he even come wandering to the mid? My goodness.
Soaz looks like he wanted to set something up there from Expeke. Both lanes right now still saying pretty, safe-ish, I want to say. Expeke getting a bomb thrown on him from Moopsy, but they're both kind of just trading skills back and forth. Neither of them have an AP item. No one has a Doran's Ring really early. Looks like, yeah, Expeke got that Crystalline Flask and a ward and a bunch of potions early. So there was that charm going down on top of Moopsy, taking a bit of damage. Cyanide setting up top lane with that Jarvan. He does have that double buff too.
Yeah, the double buff as well. Lots of pinging going on at the top of the UI. Reckless, however, dropping extremely low to the burst. Here comes that Jarvan from behind. Vander, does he have that Valkyrie ready to go? He does. Not going to get knocked up by the Demacian standard into the grab. So looks like everyone will be okay there. Bottom lane still trading out. Glucose on the receiving end of that one. And Moopsy is doing all right mid against Xpeke, but just the creep score already is very, very different.
Yeah, without a doubt. 27 CS from Lee Sin to 19 from the Glucose Olaf. He does have quite a bit of a lead, and then on top of that we see actually Amumu having 22, mostly from the jungle, versus the Jarvan only having 13. Now Jarvan does have that assist, so that was from that, that first blood invade. So there is that really, there's no really huge gap. It's different style, setting up top lane, and Rated actually overdriving away. He came in just a wee bit too early on from that lane, but Glucose right now bottom lane taking a lot of harass from Soaz.
Dude, Soaz is so ballsy. Like, right behind the tower, lands the Sonic Wave, hits him, safeguards back out, takes 2 turret shots, but just shrugs them off with his shield. So, wow. Just able to drive Glucose right out of lane. 37 to the 26. Doran shield now picked up as well for an Olaf. And again, we're seeing more and more of this importance of the newly designed Doran shields for our top laners.
Yeah, and even when you're not running a top laner, I mean, obviously the Blitzcrank picked up that Doran shield too, and that helped out earlier on when Zyra and Vander turned around to fight on him, but Reck was actually getting rooted down, able to arcane shift away, and was able to stay very safe on that one. But back to like the mid lane. I mean, Xpeke has 46 CS, whereas Zilean only really has 31. Now, I mean, the bombs do a lot of damage, and even with him having a Doran's ring, he's able to clear. But it's not really until later on that Zilean really gains his clearing capabilities, and Ari still really has that ability to clear from early on.
So as again just poking down on that bottom lane, we force out that Valkyrie top with the cyanide pressure, but still, other than the first blood, fairly fairly even on the kills. 1-0. Nothing really, like, we've had some close calls, but there hasn't been any huge seal the deals kind of opportunities. I mean, Glucose is able to fight back a bit. He does have that extra armor over top of Soaz, but Soaz once again going to go Brutalizer first on his Lee Sin, just shred that armor.
Yeah, right now, I mean, Brutalizer, between having that Black Cleaver, it's a rush-worthy item. It's cooldown reduction, which is especially really good on Lee Sin. Obviously, he doesn't have to deal with mana, so just every time he can cast something, the better. And then on top of that, getting down the armor from, the Doran shield and then the cloth armor, Olaf is pretty clearly, he's not going for mobility. He's just going to survive in lane. So having that Brutalizer really early is kind of important to that Lee Sin.
Top lane looks like Reckless is all by himself, but bottom lane Glucose gets hit by that Dragon Kick. In comes Adamumu with the sad Mummy Curse. He is going to be able to safeguard away. Do we have a bandage? I don't think we have the mana for a bandage. And 80 mana, okay, we do have it, but cooldowns unfortunately are a bit of a pain. Top lane, however, N-rated. Looks like he's going to be up here with some pressure from Cyanide. And did we have an exchange mid? Looks like we did.
Yeah, Moopsy right now having that blue buff, he's able to just toss those bombs back and forth all day long. So, Xpeke can't really deal with that after he got the Doran's ring, that extra 15 AP. It's a lot to deal with, especially with a blue buff Zilean. It's a very scary sight.
We looked for the Cyanides actually stewing out the red. That's the usefulness of Clairvoyance. Glucose actually heading back to town as well, picks up the boots and a health crystal. And are we going to see that Brutalizer? Yes, we are. 61 creeps deep. Soaz is absolutely having a time of his life in that bot lane.
Yep. Ari right now did rush her Sorcerer's Shoes. We've been seeing a lot lately of a lot of people just not getting boots, or even when they do get boots, they get level 1 boots, and kind of later on they don't really have to much worry about it. But I think Xpeke at this point just wanted the magic pen. I think without spending another 1,000 gold on a Haunting Guise, or anything else really quickly, that Sorcerer's Shoes will give him that lane control, and then especially give him that mobility in the lane. He'll be able to harass Moopsy just a little bit more than he can handle. So now that Ari has, or Xpeki has his blue buff, the lane's kind of I'd be willing to bet the lane's going to shift back in his favor.
Cyanide kind of dropping low, but he was tanking out a few different of the objectives, so he's going to be back to town. No Spirit Stone for him. Looks like he's going to go straight for that Wriggle's Lantern. So, I mean, not all junglers are forced into those Spirit Stones, but N-Rated going to be able to put up some harass on top of Super A's, forces out a spell or two. Reckless trying to land some of these skill shots, but Vander being evasive with his plane. That's a really nice Corki skin.
It's, well, you know what I mean. It's scary. You don't want to deal with that. I mean, you could have that red Baron in your lane, and that's a scary side at least. But just look at the teeth on that helicopter, man. I don't want to deal with that.
Yep.
That's too much.
True enough. Reckless going to take a bomb to the phase. N-Rated. Are we looking for a grab? We are going to be able to hit it as well. Looking for it. Oh, so close with that ignite. The Knight's still ticking down, but there's the barrier. And again, barrier is that really hard counter to that ignite. Am I getting low? Am I not going to live? Hit the barrier. No problem.
Yeah, because with that reduced healing, effect, the heal doesn't clearly want to do it. Xpeki takes down that middle lane turret. Different Styles popped in, does flash ult onto Ari. Ari gets taken down, and Zilean picks up the kill on that one. Now, he did miss his bandage toss. He had to burn his flash. But still, I mean, for that kill, you don't want to go letting that tower go unpunished. This is just not a good sight. Ooh, flash out of Super Ace, dodging that grab at just the right second.
Yeah, I just caught the tail end of it. Cyanide going to be babysitting mid, but not really too much he can do against this. Could we see a double bomb combo on top of him? He's going to go with the Cataclysm right in front of the tower, knocking them up. The towers are doing some good damage. Is Different Styles going to get out of this one? No, but we do have a revive on him. Good guy, Zilean.
So as heading up towards the midnight lane. Now remember that first turret was taken out, and yeah, they did have vision with that ward down there in the river, so they were aware of that Lee Sin coming up. That was definitely a good trade though from Fnatic. I mean, they did lose, Ari, they lost her blue buff, but they took down that middle lane turret, and they might have lost Jarvan for that too, so that's 2 deaths for a turret, and it's kind of reducing that gold difference. But you got to remember that they're not just gaining gold from getting a turret. On top of the gold, they're getting map control, and especially having that mid lane turret, the entirety of Mouse's jungle is now kind of in Fnatic's favor.
And at the same time, 3-1, this is actually the first time we've seen Fnatic, a little bit more on the back foot. The only thing kind of keeping them in terms of the gold is the last hits. And, having both the bottom lanes up top, it really does make it a dicey situation for Dragon Control. But what a grab on top of Vander. There goes the silence and the trades, but he is going to be able to get out of that one, as Soaz does take down the bottom towers. So 2 towers up is going to make more than enough difference here to the 2 kills. And just, again, the last hitting situation. We're starting to see triple digits now for the Fnatics, and we only have 1 person in the 90s for Mouse.
Yeah, Fnatic getting that lane control and having that jungle control, it's really giving them the option to sort of decide, in lane, we're going to last hit, we're going to win these trades. A Different Style is actually getting caught out in his own jungle, flashing over behind the blue side wall. Xpeki picking that one up. And it looks like the blue buff's going to go back onto Xpeki, but
enemy blue buff.
Yeah, flash coming out from Vander as well, dodging that N-rated grab. But yeah, this top lane turret's going to go down. Yeah, once you take down one of the turrets, especially that mid lane turret, you really gain control over the entire map.
Well, almost, within the span of 2 minutes, we take out the dragon, we take down the 2 farthest towers, and Reckless, I mean, he could push down this top. He's just electing not to. He's just going to elect for the creeps to do it. So Super A is going to be trying to freeze him out here. We got 100 hit points to this name. That one big minion actually might be enough to take it down by himself. And, Soaz bottom lane with that brutalizer is just doing a great amount of work against Olaf. And Olaf, no boots, has more armor, but also has more health with the giant spells. So, once again, just seeing these giant spells come out that much earlier. I mean, it's 14 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Giant Spell does cost a little bit less in gold, but you gotta remember that the lanes now get less gold as well. The last hits are worth less. The more gold comes from the ambient gold in general. So they didn't so much like increase the amount of gold that junglers get from the jungle. They just increased the amount of ambient gold that junglers and supports get, and then decrease the amount of gold that laners get at the same time. So seeing that Giant's Belt come out is definitely a response to the Brutalizer. I mean, even if you build armor, you're still going to need to build a lot more armor that you have money for to try to even out that Brutalizer.
Maybe looking here off for a kill on top of End Rated. Nobody gets hit by that Stranglethorn. We do got that True Shot Barrage coming out, though. It's different styles. Is going to be eating the Mystic Shot and Essence Flux, and you know, expertly dodged by Fnatic. That was a lot of investment for Mouse, and they're not going to come away with anything except a dead tower in this regard. Actually, we got Ari coming in from behind, throwing out the blind charm, but does not grab it. In fact, the Curse of the Sad Mummy able to really return the damage nicely on top of Xpeke, as different styles and crew are going to be dropping. We do got the revive ready to go on top of Moopsy inside that Cataclysm. The bombs are going to be hitting off, but forcing out that flash to get on out of that alive. 3 for 2. Definitely came out in head. Sorry, of Fnatic. But oh, look at that grab on top of Moopsy. Great stuff. 4 for 2. Yeah, Fnatic coming out ahead on that one pretty nicely.
Glucose could actually take these 3 down. He's continue on to it. Reckless actually gets taken out. Reckless was really low and cleared out of that one. Soaz actually getting a nice Sonic Wave kick on top of Olaf, clearing that one out. That was actually really close for Glucose to turn around, and he did get a kill off of that one, which was, I mean, to be honest, that alone, that one kill on Reckless kind of put things into place.
That's the first death on Reckless as well, and he's going to go for, I'm assuming, a Bloodthirster at this point. I mean, he had the BF sword and he had the long sword. Now he has the Vamp Scepter as well. Or, you know, maybe we're just going to see, as we saw in Season 2, just get the Vamp Scepter just for that extra lifesteal and then go straight for that Infinity Edge. Because I would not be too surprised to see an Infinity Edge, since it seems to be the dominant theme of today.
Yeah, and he picks up that pickaxe, so it definitely looks like Ezreal is going for that Infinity Edge, and especially with that Vampiric Scepter. I mean, rushing a Bloodthirster isn't a terrible idea on an Ezreal, but if you can get that extra damage from a Infinity Edge and then have that stack with the lifesteal of, you know, you have to spend more gold on to get that, you know, that Vampiric Scepter, it seems almost worth it to get that Infinity Edge over it.
So, as speaking of Bloodthirsters, actually does have his ready to go. So not only is he not a defensively Sin, he is looking quite strong at 5-0-2. In fact, 17 minutes in, he's been part of 100% of the kills for Fnatic.
That's right, and then looks like different styles getting onto Cyanide with a bandage toss. Cyanide just going to make it out of this one alive, as they did drop that Clairvoyance, but Soaz trading back and forth with the Olaf having to blow his Ragnarok, stay alive in this one. Fnatic actually, Soaz just going to flash out. Moopsy coming in, he does have his bomb set up, but it looks like right now mid lane, Super Ace taking quite a bit of damage with this mid lane turret is being pressured really hard, so Mouse is going to have to turn around and not chase after Soaz. Soaz still putting pressure on this bottom lane turret. Xpeke actually going to take out this top lane turret. It looks like 200 health left. And there it goes down. Xpeke taking down that top lane turret. And then bottom lane Soaz still pushing onto it. Different styles lands a bandage toss onto Xpeke. Takes quite a bit of damage from, from Ari. It's just so much with the Sorcerer's Shoes and then the Zhonya's Hourglass.
So not only did Soaz not get chased out of bottom, because they went bottom, Fnatic put up pressure mid, and then when they went mid, Fnatic was still putting up pressure top, and Soaz resumed putting on pressure bottom. So not only do we have all 3 turrets kind of being pressured, they lose the top one, they're on the verge of losing the bottom one. Soaz is going to be able to take that one out, and they're going to be catching out different styles in here because he does not have anything really left to go off. He has that Curse of the Sad Mummy, but the mana is not there. He does get that revive, and it will prevent the kill. Not the True Shot Barrage going to be able to grab that one, but
here comes Xpeke though. Is he going to make it down onto different styles? Ult comes in, lands it out. A nice bomb going down on top of him. Reckless picks up that super ace. Moopsy's still back in mid lane. He did use his ult earlier on Amumu, but there goes Expecki. He's really low. He might actually take one of the tower shots. Oh, he's so close out of this one. A nice charm lands on Vander, and then a Zhonya's Hourglass to keep himself alive.
Ballsy play, but brilliant play. 11-6. They pick themselves up 4 kills out of that.
Soaz lands the Sonic Wave. Goes down onto Vander, but a barrier keeps him alive out of this one as well. Oh, there's so much going on back and forth.
100 hit points to his name. Again, that's why you take that barrier. It's just hard counters that ignite so much better than that heal. But again, you know, with that barrier, you don't have your own ignite. You don't have your own exhaust. It is very much a defensive option. But Vander, very, very thankful he took it at this point.
So if we take a look, you know, down at the teams, we've got 33,300 gold for Fnatic, and then 24,000 for Mouse. But one of the items I wanted to point out here is look at Zyra's item. And when I say item, item, I mean just a single item. She has no wards, she has no sightstone, she has no gold pretend. She just rushed that locket. But you know, in entire honesty, team fights are what Mouse needs. It's pretty clear though that they only want to team fight. They can't just like catch someone on Fnatic off guard because all of them are a really strong team. So having that locket for a team fight could really change the flow of it.
Well, we're going to have to see if it's going to be used at all here. True Shot Barrage is going to hit both Vander as well as Super A's. We got a bomb here on top of Cyanide, but he's going to jump right there into Glucose. Cyanide is throwing down the Cataclysm, pretty much his death knell calling, as Glucose able to tank up quite a bit of damage there in the front. So, you know, small victories are what we're going to be going for. There's that locket though. I mean, we did use it that team fight. We were able to get a kill. They did drop the dragon, and oh, they walk right into the charm and Ari as well. Godlike Soaz, my goodness. Super A is going to be dropping as well. Vander has to Valkyrie on out of that one. We still got Spirit Rush ready to go, as well as the Dragon Kick coming out. Vander not going to be getting out of that one alive, and different styles and Moopsy just kind of running with tails between their legs.
Man, Fnatic is just cleaning up every fight that they engage into. They're pretty clearly orchestrated and saying, you know, this is exactly what they're doing. If we just take a look at the items too, Expecki picked up a Malady on Ari. So,
yep.
I don't know whether that's actually an item that he's picking or if he's just kind of throwing it in the face and saying, you know, I got a Malady. What are you gonna do about it?
It's like the old Tiamat trolls. Yeah, maybe.
Different styles, landing a bandage toss onto N-rated, popping that Curse of the Sad Mummy, but he gets focused down really quickly from Expecki. And Zyra, or you know, Blitzcrank does get taken down during that fight, but you know, at cost of a support for a jungler at that point, I don't know if it's all that worth it.
1-4 versus 0-2. I think that killing off the Blitzcrank was a bit better in terms of the trade-off, simply because he was worth more. I mean, he has 9 assists to the 15 kills, has only died twice now. Does not really have, you know, a lot of completed items, but he does have the boots, he does have the philosophers, so, you know, putting him down just any way that they can. Any kill that Mouse can take, they just kind of need to take it, otherwise they are going to just keep dropping. And at this rate, if they do keep at this, you know, two team fights max, and the game's going to be done.
Yeah, and if we take a look, actually, I didn't even notice that the unique passive. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was looking at the Hex Shrinker, but I mean, like the Malady itself, it's actually not. I mean, it's looking like a pretty good item between the attack speed and the ability power. I mean, the attack speed maybe not so much on Ari, but you know, 25 ability power for you know a cheap item. You know what? Yeah, we gotta go back to that Tiamat. I just can't. I keep trying to like work that out in my head, and it's there. He's just picking up a Malady, saying, you know, we could just build.
Well,
we could just build wherever we want to go with this.
Let's take a quick look at Ari. Ari has 325 ability power. Every time she auto attacks something, she'll reduce that resistance. She probably has Spellblade as well, which means every auto attack is doing 5%, plus now the static damage of basic attacks dealing what, 48. So 5% of 32 is 16, more or less, plus 38. She's doing an extra 50 at auto attack damage, plus she's doing more as time goes on because she's reducing the magic armor. So yeah, think of it like she now has 150 auto attack, more or less.
Wow, basically the new Lich Bane.
Yeah, it's a consistent Lich Bane. Look at that great Dragon Kick, however. Putting down Vander right there into the front lane. We did not actually grab him. We did grab out Ace. And was that Styles actually flashing in? Nope, that was somebody flashing out. But still, that team fight on the side cost them the mid tower. Xpeke able to just trade out a little bit of extra damage for free. Yeah, that's a pretty good trade. Nothing for something, pretty much. Throwing down those Foxfire as well, just really poking very well at these guys. And bottom lane, you know, this tower now dropping 0 for 2, no kills on the board, but Mouse is starting to just fall over like a house of cards.
Yeah, I think the pressure is getting to him at this point. I mean, Fnatic Soaz just kind of getting... He got dived on. Holy cow, he got stuck inside of that Cataclysm. Took a lot of damage. Glucose actually taking the ult from Zillion there. Reckless just trying to stay alive at this point from Vander. A Blitzcrank ult taking out both Corki and Olaf. And just Fnatic just barreling down at this point. Yeah, Mouse is really feeling the pressure, and you can just kind of see it with their team play at this point.
Yeah, they don't even care about that other inhibitor. They're just going to go straight for the Nexus. We got GG's getting called out from Mouse, and Mouse, you know, dropping 20 to 9. It seems very reminiscent of our first game of the day against the Copenhagen Wolves. Fnatic are just so on point with everything. Now, would I recommend that you get a Malady on an Ahri? No, but is it kind of funny that it just gives him that much more extra damage? Yes.
That's right. I didn't even think about the way that, you know, Spell Sword and that kind of stacks out. That actually does make quite a bit of sense.
When you run out of mana, the only thing you have left is your auto attack. So
very interesting.
Yeah. I want to see a Veigar with, you know, 1,000 AP just auto attacking people with Spell Sword. That's what I want to see.
Huh. Is that something we're gonna have to, you know, go make happen? Viewers, yeah, go send us your videos. Spend time in a custom game with a, you know, Veigar. Make that happen.
Still, it's only 5%. I mean, it's not a huge amount, but still, even at 1,000 ability power, that 5% is 50. 50 extra attack damage.
Whew.
It's the same as a BF sword at that point.
That is true. 1,000 ability power just for, you know, a BF sword. That's actually not a bad trade at all.
Well, we did have GGs coming out, but no surrender votes, so, I mean, we're still in on this. Let's take a quick look around the place. I mean, other than that Bloodthirster, we do got the Frozen Mallet now on Lee Sin. We've tanked up pretty nicely here on Jarvan with that Warmogs, and in case you guys didn't know, Warmogs was changed last patch. You don't build it up anymore. It's just flat 1,000 health, but that health regen, 42 health every 5 seconds. Yes,
holy
please.
Cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because they did, when they removed the Force of Nature, they had to kind of distribute those stats. And you know what, that actually makes a lot of sense for the Warmog's armor. It did seem kind of like a snowball-y item. Even after the nerf, it was just really strong for what it did.
I don't think we're going to see boots for Zyra today. She has a Kindle gem. Poor plant Zyra. Cannot.
Who needs boots?
She's not a mobile plant. She just puts down her roots. But yeah, either way, I mean, we got a Rabadon's now on top of Ahri, 500 ability power. Yeah, GG.
Holy cow.
In goes the Cataclysm, going legendary Xpeke, just trapping Glucose in there. And Glucose getting trapped is not what he wants to do. He wants to get into the back line. But triple kill coming out for Xpeke. Can we go for that Penta? Vander's looking really far forward. And yeah, Fnatic N-rated, scumbag N-rated, denying the Quadra. Are we going to dive for Vander? Dive for Vander. Dive for Vander.
Oh, come on, you guys can do this. It's just Fnatic is all. We'll just let the turret handle this. Okay, there we go, diving onto it. Vander's still alive, just barely. Yep. 2 people getting taken down.
Becca got it, though.
Alright, but Fnatic looks like he's going to take out this game against Mouse. So, very good game, actually, that we've been seeing. But I gotta give it to Fnatic. They've just been on a roll. They've been doing everything almost perfectly, you know, every game. They might slip up here and there, but immediately they turn around as a team and go, you know what, we're not doing that again. We're going.
25-11, 66 to 11-25, 18. Once again, some very overwhelming assists coming out from Fnatic, but nice 12 and 13,000 scores. Richest Mouse Vander, Corky, 8.4. Did eventually get that Trinity Force, but could not stand up to the power of the Fnatic. Season 1 champions are in full bloom here, guys, in the Thor Open League of Legends tournament. That is our 4th game of the round robin today. And that means that we're either going to have Alternate versus Fnatic or the Mighty Midgets versus the Copenhagen Wolves. Up next, we're going to go talk it out with the admin, see what it is going to be. But guys, stay tuned. One more game and then the semifinals. Best of 3 coming up here for Thor. I'm the Four-Core Jester, with me in Sigma. Don't go anywhere.